Hello and welcome to the Week 6 Prep Rally Scoreboard Show. I'm Rob Hernandez. He's Dennis Semrau. And Dennis, we'll talk about the big game in the Big 8 Conference in a minute, but let's start first with the game you were at in the Badger North. Wanakee, the three-time defending state champions, tested early, but they pull away for a 34-0 victory over Reedsburg at Warriors Stadium. The winning streak goes to 42 games, just 6 shy of the state record set by Manitowoc in the 1980s. Business as usual at Warriors Stadium.
Well, and 90 games in a row at home. That was the big one. Reedsburg, the last team, October 2nd, 2009, a 15-10 win at Reedsburg. So Wanakee remembered that. The seniors were freshmen that year, even though one of them told me it was 2008. But we'll forgive him for the mathematical error. But Wanakee, all three phases. Ryan Cruiser returned the opening kickoff 45 yards. They got a field goal. He had a fumble recovery, also a 53-yard pass reception from Will DeCora. Running game did not do much in the first half. It was only 10-0. Reedsburg had were within 17 late in the third quarter, but Wanakee is just too tough.
Too tough tonight, and they roll on as we look forward to possibly that Week 8 showdown with Mount Horeb-Barneveld. Mount Horeb-Barneveld takes care of business tonight, 46-6 over Sauk Prairie in the Badger North, and DeForest bounces Baraboo 56-14. Southern Badger Conference tonight, halfback James Conner scores 5 touchdowns, 3 receiving, 2 rushing. Monona Grove clinches at least a share of the conference title tonight with a 49-22 win at Milton. Dennis, the Silver Eagles can earn the title outright next week with a win over winless Oregon. I kind of think that's going to happen.
I think that is.
It's an undisputed heavyweight champion of the Southern Badger.
Nice to know that I did not jinx James Conner. We shot video for his prep profile, which will run next Tuesday. Wisconsin State Journal and on madison.com. And James is just an outstanding player. And the matchup in that game, though, 2 future Big Ten recruits, Jaden Galt for Monona Grove, A.J. Natter, the fine defensive end for future Cornhuskers for Milton. Yep. And I'm sure there's a little talk back and forth about who's going to win the game Saturday night.
I bet there will be. Yeah, exactly. Elsewhere in the Southern Badgers tonight, Monroe gets its first conference win, 28-13 over Oregon. And Fort Atkinson steps on Stoughton 41-18. Non-conference crossover involving the Badger tonight. Madison Edgewood coach Al Minert gets his 200th coaching victory in Wisconsin. The Crusaders hold off Portage 35-21 in a matinee game at Breitenbach Stadium in Middleton. Dennis, nice to see a good guy like Al Minert reach a coaching milestone.
Yeah, I was there before the game, and Al didn't really want to talk about anything. I talked to the Portage coach, and he knew it was coming up. And Portage started out 7-0, didn't look good early on a long touchdown pass, but 3 touchdowns later, 21-7 first half. The best part about it, his 2 sons that we both coached were there tonight.
Outstanding. Nightcap game, our WisconsinPrepZone.com game of the week over at Breitenbach Stadium. Sun Prairie at Middleton. The Cards win this one, Dennis. The Sun Prairie football Cardinals beat your Middleton Cardinals 17-0, basically all but assuring Sun Prairie the conference title. The Cardinals play host to Janesville Parker next week before closing the season at thus far winless Madison East. Parker lost tonight 42-0 to Verona down at Monterey Stadium in Janesville. East fell to Madison West 40-6. I think Sun Prairie might have this one wrapped up.
The best thing about Sun Prairie winning is an outright Big 8 champion. The last few years, 2 and 3 and 4 teams, and I don't think the Big 8 has gotten the respect to the playoffs. We'll find out. Is the WA going to put 6 Big 8 teams, if they make it, into the same bracket?
That's right.
Or are they going to split them up? But when you have an outright conference champion, I don't want to hear about a school in the Milwaukee area getting a higher seed than Sun Prairie. They deserve a number 1 seed.
Definitely. Other Big 8 conference games tonight. Madison La Follette and Madison Memorial remain in the hunt for playoff berths tonight. La Follette trounces Beloit Memorial 56-22. While Madison Memorial rallies from a 21-7 deficit to beat Janesville Craig 44-21. So both La Follette and Memorial, Dennis, go to 3-3. They meet next week at Loser Stadium behind La Follette High School. The winner of that game obviously goes to 4-3, and they clinch at least playoff consideration. So one of these teams is going to be at least eligible for the playoffs. 2 could make it. I think Memorial wraps up the season with East, but next week someone out of that city rivalry is going to be celebrating a playoff berth.
Yeah, also playing for a city title most likely, right?
That's right. So that's another thing at stake next week over at Loser Stadium. In the Capital Conference tonight, Lakeside Lutheran won the big showdown game in the Northern Division. They win at Lodi, but it wasn't easy. Brennan Lease, who rushed for 277 yards, got 48 of it on a game-clinching TD with less than 3 minutes to go. The Warriors knock off Lodi 28-16. Dennis, Lakeside gained sole possession of first place. You called it. You thought the road to the conference title would lead through Lakeside Lutheran High School in Lake Mills. It Sure seemed that way tonight.
And they clinched that first playoff berth, the first team to do it in the conference. That's nice. Get that third win.
That's right. That's out of the way and behind them. Elsewhere in the Northern Capital tonight, Watertown Luther Prep sank Lake Mills 14-10, and Poinet knocks off Columbus 33-14. Southern Capital Conference tonight, Marshall handed Belleville its first conference loss, 55-13, behind 171 yards and 3 TDs from Cole Hansen. Dennis, the Cardinals are in the driver's seat now for the conference title, having beaten the 2 teams behind them with 1 loss.
Yep, going for 7 in a row. Lucky 7.
7 in a row. Marshall on a roll. The other team 1 game back, New Glarus Monticello, they got a 19-6 win over Cambridge. Spencer Jones with 2 touchdowns for the night for the Knights in that victory. Also, Waterloo topples Wisconsin Heights tonight, 28-10. Around the area, Jefferson won this week's showdown in the Rock Valley North, 21-7 over Evansville Albany. In the SWAL, Cuba City remained unbeaten in conference play with a 14-7 win over Darlington. The Cubans can clinch a share of the SWAL title next week with a win over Mineral Point. And last but not least, SWC tonight, Seth Legal, 252 yards, 4 rushing touchdowns. River Valley flattens Platteville 42-10 at Spring Green. Dennis, that sets up a Week 7 showdown next week as Valley travels to Lancaster to take on the unbeaten Flying Arrows. Doesn't get any better than that in the SWC.
I'd love to see that game.
That's right. So a big ball game next week in Lancaster. Big ball games all over the area as this regular season in Wisconsin high school football winds down. For Dennis Semrau, I'm Rob Hernandez. Thanks for watching the Scoreboard Show. We'll see you at the stadium.